So hi, today we're going to look at a waltz called the Bluemont Waltz, and it's by fiddle player Rodney Miller. A beautiful tune and very well suited to the C-sharp D box indeed, because it's in A, but a kind of G-less A, no G sharps anywhere, and I've learnt this I've absorbed this from the playing of Jackie Daly. It's a kind of a fetish tune with Jackie, and you can find a nice version on YouTube of him playing the tune with Matt Cranich. So the Bluemont Waltz by Rodney Miller. If you want a written version, you can find it in this book, the Waltz book, the first in this series by the very excellent Bill Matheson, or Matheson, not quite sure how you pronounce his name. It's in here, the Bluemont Waltz by Rodney Miller, and it's pretty well the way that Jackie, and therefore that I play it. A little bit of folk processing has happened. It's not quite the same, little twists and turns, but it's basically the same, and basically the same chords that I use and that Jackie uses, that I hope to show you. So there we are, the Waltz book. And if you like that book, I'm just give you a little plug here for the latest version of the series, number 4, which has some very great tunes in it as well, including a couple of mine, like a Sinette and Valse Laurentienne. So be delighted if you picked up number 4 and started playing those tunes. Right now, let's get on with Bluemont Waltz. So I'll start by giving you just the melody, and then we'll look at the chords. So here it goes. Repeats. So there's the melody, and as you'll see, it's got almost an American country or old-time feel to it, and you can play it all on the one row because there are no G sharps, even though it's in the key of A, and the range of the tune is quite limited. It basically goes from D up to F sharp, so it's only an octave and a third. Now then, there was the melody. Now let's look at the melody slowly. I go up to the, get my index finger on that B there. And then gradually swapping fingers to come down painlessly. Little grace note on the E, like a little triplet, E, F sharp, E. So the triplet on the E, followed by a triplet, F sharp, E, D. One more time. Keep going. Change. two phrases are very similar, just the ending that's different. The second time you go. Then we repeat the whole thing. Second part starts with a little run up, C sharp, D, E. Now there, I'm going down to the C sharp on the outer row, and that's because of a chord choice. In fact, there's a choice in the, you will see we can either use an A major chord or an F sharp minor chord, and I like the F sharp minor, which means that I have to play the C sharp on the outer row here because my F sharp minor is on the push and yours probably will be too. You could also play it on the row if you want to play an A chord. So that phrase. So from the beginning. Now the end there you've already had, so that's why I threw in a longish phrase there. There we're going from a B minor chord to an E chord. So the whole second part. Both the first and second parts. Now let's look at the chords we'll use for this tune. It's a very satisfying tune, 4 chords for the C sharp beatbox, because you get to use almost all your chords and basses. The only ones you won't be using are the G chord and bass. All the others you'll be using. That means you'll be using A on the pull position here, and A in the push here. You'll be using D on the push here. You'll be using E. And over here we'll be using F sharp and B. A lot of F sharp actually. Now the only chords that absolutely need not to be major are the F sharp and the B. And the chords on all my boxes are neutral with no thirds. If you have major basses, major chords, and you're not able to cut out the thirds, then you can still get away with this by using just the bass buttons, and in the case of the F sharp major you might be able to substitute a couple of them with A chords instead. Let's assume that you've got F sharp and B neutral. So let's go. Here is the chord structure for the first part. Starts with an A pull, E, F sharp minor for 2 beats, 2 bars I should say. I use a passing bass note of E here to get me down to D. So from the beginning. So it goes from D to E for a brief, and then as you push, changes to A, which works very well, and then back to E again. So the whole thing would be and then you go on. Same. The only difference is here you stay on E and you finish on A. So the second time it's let's see if I can play that without messing up too much. Fairly straightforward. You'll have to use your A button a little bit, because otherwise I think you'll find yourself getting too extended. You'll need to, there's more pull chords than pushes. So there's the chords for the first part. Chords for the second part now. We'll worry about what to do about this lead up in a minute, but the tune starts with F sharp and we play a D chord. E. Now, this is where I like to play an F sharp minor chord. So that's why I'm playing my C sharp here on the outer row. You could easily play an A chord there. Up to you. I like the F sharp. If you don't have the F sharp minor, that's one of the places you can substitute an A chord. But let's play it my way for now. Same rundown, D, and back to A, so it goes. Now you get your B minor, and then your A push. F sharp, A, D again, back to familiar ground. See, I need a bit of work on these too. For the lead in, you can do nothing, or you could play a couple of taps up here, could do this little bass run that I found here. As the melody goes up, you run down on the basses. So C sharp here, A bass, D here, F sharp bass, E here, F in the melody, D in the bass. So you're playing kind of neat, don't you think? So there we are, there's the basses. I'll be working on those at the same time as my class, but I think you'll find it really a very attractive and satisfying tune to get the basses going on. One last comment about basses on this tune. You see me flailing around here with fingers 1 and 2. Some very good melodeon players, particularly Andy Cutting, strongly recommends that on an 8 bass box should use the same fingers. Use all 4 fingers, and so you have middle finger and index finger, ring finger, sorry, for the bottom pairs, and then middle and index for the top pairs. This has obviously makes a lot of sense, and it has the great advantage that, you know, the fingers are assigned to buttons, if you like, and then playing sort of runs like that ought to be very easy because the fingers don't have to go reaching. I haven't worked on that particularly because I have a 12 bass box and I find it absolutely impossible to get down to use the little finger convincingly on a 12 bass box. So I'm just lazily floundering around with fingers 1 and 2. However, I think this would be a very good tune to experiment with the 4-finger bass method, particularly since you don't have to go reaching inside here for the G. This the little finger and the ring finger just stay here. Very handy. And then these guys are free to use these top pairs, which are used rather more than the bottom pair. So I'd recommend that this would be a very good tune to start playing with. Makes a lot of sense. Anyway, I'm going to be working on that, and maybe you should too. The Bluemont Waltz, a long clip, but I hope you enjoy this tune.